name of Yahushua. First and foremost, let's give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. And today we have a lesson. I titled this, The Pleasure of Sin for a Season. Okay, why did I say the pleasure of sin for a season? Because that's exactly what sin is. Okay, it's only pleasurable for a season, meaning it has an expiration date. It's only temporary. And this is what this whole system in Babylon, especially here in America, aka the daughter of Babylon, this is what this whole world promotes upon us. Okay, it pushes, as we're going to see in this lesson, everything that appeals to our senses, everything that appeals to our lust, our carnality. It's to keep us in a carnal, low-level vibration state of mind. Okay, everything from what you see on social media, television, your music, so on and so forth, everything is to keep us in such a low-level vibration. Even our own individual lusts and sins. Okay, understand sin is pleasurable, but it comes with an expiration date. And at the end of that expiration date, there's a price to pay. Okay, this is what the devil try to hide from us. Okay, it only tells us the good side of things. Okay, he don't reveal or show us the penalty of that sin, which is going to always be death. Okay, so once again, the pleasure of sin for a season. All right, we're going to start off in Genesis chapter 3, and we're going to pick it up in verse 1. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1.
That's the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh had made.
And what subtle is, that's very clever, in a very conniving, deceitful way. All right, so this serpent, which also goes, if you look at the precepts, this serpent was actually a man. Okay, a man, he had the spirit of the devil in him. Okay, and he was doing the deceit or the lie. Continue.
And he said unto the woman, Ye hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall he touch it, lest he die.
Okay, so the Lord had already gave Adam the commandments to give to Eve. The commandment was simply, thou shalt not eat from this tree in the midst of the garden. Okay, trees also, when we use our precept, is ain't talking about just regular physical trees that grow. Trees also represent men. Okay, these were people of other nations. Okay, he said don't partake of the tree that's in the midst of the garden, meaning the information. The information and philosophy that this people is going to give you, don't consume it. Don't listen to it. Continue.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For Yahweh doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Okay, so verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Okay, so that's a lie. Okay, the Lord already told them the day they eat thereof, they shall die. So now you got the serpent coming along saying, You shall not surely die. Okay, so we're going to see it was a bold-faced lie, because the second they partook of that tree, they did die. They didn't die physically right away, but we're going to see they died spiritually. All right? Read verse 5 again.
For Yahweh knoweth that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Now that part was true. You see, the devil tells half-truths and half lies. That part was actually true. The Lord know the day you eat it of, your eyes shall be open, and you shall know good and evil. Meaning before in the garden, they only knew righteousness. Okay, they didn't know no sin, no evil. But the second they partook of the fruit of the tree, now their eyes was open. Kind of like that third eye. Now they knew what evil was. So at this point, they know good and evil. Come on.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eye.
Now wait a minute, that's the key. When the woman saw that the tree was pleasant for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes. So right here we see it pleasant to the eyes, meaning it's appealing to her senses. It's something that's desirable, something that's attractive, something that's appealing to her lust. Continue.
And the tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
And when it says a tree that was desirable to make one wise, this is how we know it's dealing with knowledge. It's dealing with information, because it says to make one wise. So to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave it also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Verse 7.
Verse 7, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons.
Okay, so see, the devil was telling the truth about that part. The second they did eat, their eyes were open, meaning they now know good from evil. It says, and they saw that they were naked. Okay, now this naked, this is a metaphor, meaning they're sin. They were exposed. They were shameless. Okay, let's get a quick precept to prove that sin. Revelation 16, verse 15. Because it says, as soon as they ate it, both of their eyes was open, and they saw that they were naked, meaning their sin was exposed.
Book of Revelation chapter 16, verse 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame.
See that? Blessed is he who watcheth and keepeth his garments, meaning righteousness, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. So that was a metaphor. When they say their eyes were open, they saw that they were naked, meaning they were exposed, their sin. Okay? So from now, let's get Ecclesiastes 8, verse 11. Because we're going to see they died spiritually the second they ate it. The second they listened to that false information, to that knowledge, they died spiritually, but they still live physically. They didn't die to physical till later. 8, verse 11.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
You see that? Because the Lord don't judge people right away most of the times. People think they're getting away with it, and they say their heart is set to continue to do evil. See that? Adam and Eve, they didn't die physically right away. Spiritually, yeah, that's what introduced sin into the whole world of humanity. But physically, they didn't die right away. And this precept's what we just read, because evil work, the sentence of an evil work is not executed speedily. Man's heart is set to continue doing evil. So it's showing you the pleasure of sin is only for a season. It comes with an expiration date. All right, let's get James chapter 1. And we read verses 13 through 15.
The book of James chapter 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed.
See, that's the same thing that happened to Eve in the garden. It said that when she saw that it was pleasant to her eyes. See, and right here it say every man is drawn away of his own sin when he's enticed. Okay, so everybody within this world, we each have something that appeals to our lust or our senses. Always something that the enemy is going to use to pull us into this world or to get us caught up or to stumble. Okay, it's not that the Lord tempts us or calls us to sin, but it's something in each and every one of us. Okay, for one person it may be different. This is the example we saw with Eve. It say when she saw it appealed to her eyes. So it's some type of information, okay, that she wanted to hear that made her flesh pleasurable. Okay, but she fell for it. Her Adam fell for it, and you see what happened. That introduced sin into the earth. Continue.
Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
See that? When lust is conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it's finished, bringeth forth death. Showing you it's a season for it. And most sin, if you keep it real, pretty much all sin is pleasurable. It feels good. It's an old saying the old folks used to say, if it makes you grin, it's sin. Okay, most things in this world, not everything, but most things that's really pleasurable to our flesh is usually associated with some type of sin. So this is what it's saying. It said, then when lust had conceived, meaning you give in to that desire, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Showing you sin is only pleasurable for a season, but at the end of that season, you have to pay the penalty, which is death. All right, let's get a precept. Romans chapter 6, verse 23.
Book of Romans chapter 6, verse 23. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Yahweh is eternal life through Yahushua.
See that? The wages of sin is death. What's wages? Okay, wages is something you earn, just like on the job. Your wages is what you get for your labor, what you work. Spiritually, it's the same thing. The wages of sin, okay, is death. This is what we're showing you. You can sin or whatever, live a lifestyle, a mindset of sin for a season. You can give in to the flesh, whatever that sin or that desire may be. Okay, you're going to reap the benefits for a season. But at the end of that season, you have to pay the price, which is death. All right, let's get Galatians chapter 6. We're going to read verse 7 and 8.
The book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
You see that? God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that he shall also reap. Continue.
For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting life.
See that? If you sow to the flesh, you're going to reap corruption, meaning death. If you sow to the Spirit, everlasting life. Okay, just like in a physical term. When you working, whatever you seed you put in the ground, whatever you sow, that's what you go harvest. It's the same thing with our walk of faith. If you live for the flesh and give in and you always sow into the things of this world, the things of your flesh, you're going to reap at the end of it. At the end of that season, you're going to have to pay the bill, which is death. All right? But for that season, it's pleasurable. That's how Satan gets us. Okay? That's how this whole world is designed to sit up. This whole world of the matrix is one big illusion to appeal to our flesh. One big snare and trap. Okay, in many different ways. Okay, from your lust can be broad in general. From material to women, men, you name it. It's very, very broad sense. But this is how this society is set up under the devil to ensnare us in that lust for a season. Meaning we could go our whole life and reap the benefits of that sin, live pleasurable, but we must understand at the end of that season, you have to pay the penalty. Okay, the wages of sin is death. Hosea chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. Because we just read, God is not mocked, for whatever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. Whether he sow it to the Spirit, or whether he sow it to the flesh, you're going to reap either way. Good on the spiritual side, you sow to the flesh, destruction.
The book of Hosea chapter 10, verse 12. Sow to yourselves in righteousness.
See that? This is what we should be working on. This is what you should be sowing. Sow to yourselves in righteousness, meaning the things of the Lord. Come on.
Reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground. For it is time to seek the Lord, till he come and rain righteousness upon you.
See, and this is how we sow to the Spirit, okay? That we may reap mercy. That's the Lord's grace and mercy for doing what's right. That he may rain righteousness upon us. Continue.
Ye have plowed wickedness. Ye have reaped iniquity. Ye have eaten the fruit of lies.
You see that? This is going back to the first scripture we read in the garden with Adam and Eve. Now this is showing you what that information was she took. See that? You have plowed iniquity. You have reaped the fruit of lies. Or read it again, maybe.
Ye have plowed wickedness. Ye have reaped iniquity.
Yeah, you have plowed wickedness, so therefore you reap the fruit of lie or iniquity. Showing you she took on that false information. Okay, that's what she sowed. So what did she reap? Iniquity. Showing you that it only lasts for a season. It's not temporary. You can have it all, you gain the whole world, as we're going to read later, but at the end of it, you have to pay that price, that penalty. Let's go to Hebrews 11. This is our featured scripture. Hebrews chapter 11, verses 24 through 26.
The book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Now you see that? Because Moses, look how much he had to give up. Okay, he made the right decision. He didn't choose to sow to his flesh. Okay, he, instead of being called Pharaoh's daughter, he would have inherited the whole kingdom of Egypt. He would have been the top dog. Everything under the empire of Egypt would have belonged to Moses. That's all the material gain of the world at the time. All the riches, all the resources, all the women, all the cattle, you name it. It all would have been Moses. But it said he chose to do the right thing. He chose to suffer with his people rather than enjoy the fruit of that sin for a season. That's the key, for a season. Why? We going to read the next verse. Moses had more reverence and respect for the things of the Lord than he did for the things of the world. Read the next verse.
Esteeming the reproach of Christ. Receiving the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt.
See that? He esteemed, he had more fear and respect for the things of the Lord than what this world had to offer or could give him. Read.
For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of king. For he endured, as seeing him who was invisible.
You see that? He put the things of the Lord, he reaped to his spirit. He sold to the spirit. Therefore, he understood that a greater reward was going to come in the future from the Lord than the things that this world had to offer him. Showing you, he understood that that whole pleasure of Egypt would have only been for a season. All right, let's go to 1 John 2. 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 through 17.
The book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
You see that? Now it's showing you the things you sow for in this world. If you live for the world or you carnal minded, all the things that come in this world is of the flesh, meaning that carnal mind, that carnal mentality. Nothing spiritual about it. Continue.
And lust of the eyes.
See that? And lust of the eyes. Going back to Eve in that garden. Remember, it was pleasurable to her eyes. This is the way this whole world system is set up. It's something to keep us in a low-level, carnal, vibrational state. Give me, give me, give me. If only I could have that, or I get that. If I had more money, a bigger car, better job. If I could travel more. If I was married to this person. If I was with that man or that woman. It's always something to keep us so into our flesh. Okay, don't worry about the things of the spirit. Never get around to seeking the Lord because we so busy chasing the things of this world.
Temporary.
Not realizing as we about to read, all this is temporary. Verse 16.
For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Come on.
Verse 17, and the world passeth away in the lust thereof.
See that? And this world is passing away, and the lust thereof, meaning everything in this world system is going to fade away. It's all temporal.
Yep.
It's not going to last. The only thing that lasts is what we do spiritually for the Lord. All right? Read 17 again.
And the world passeth away in the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
See that? He that doeth the will of the Lord abideth forever. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
See that? We don't focus on the things that are seen. The things of this world are temporal. We focus on the unseen, meaning the spiritual. Okay? Because those are the things that last forever. Those are the things of the Lord. So therefore, what it's telling us, we should live our lives sowing to the Spirit. Let's do the things that's pleasing to the Lord so we can reap an eternal benefit. Not something that's dollar about to collapse any day now. Okay, Jacob's trouble on the way. We already know, according to the Bible, this whole earth is going to be purged and cleaned through thermonuclear ballistic missiles, fire. Okay, World War III or Armageddon. So everything here is going to be consumed and burned up. Okay, but yet, that's the trick of the enemy. Okay, that's the lust of our flesh to keep us tied up, living for that American dream. Working, slaving all your life for something that don't exist. Just die working. Work, work, work. 30, 40 years of your life just to get a pen and a note to say, good job. Okay, just showing you. We put so much energy into the things of what this world told us just for it to pass away. It's like King Solomon said, everything under the sun, all is vanity. All is vanity. None of this means nothing. But yet we put so much time, energy, and effort into the things of this world is what it's saying. Let's get 2 Peter chapter 3 and pick it up at verse 10.
Book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
That's that World War III, that thermonuclear ballistic missiles. This is how the first world, the Lord cleansed and purged with water, the flood. The second time it's going to go up in flames, World War III. Continue.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
See that? The works and everything that's in this earth is going to be burned up. Come on.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godly?
You see that? If you know this world and the things, the works and the material things that's in it is going to be dissolved and burned up, what type person ought ye be? Meaning you should be sowing the things of the spirit. You should be sowing to the spirit instead of the flesh. Why? Because none of this is going to last anyway, is what it's showing. All right. From now, let's get Mark. St. Mark chapter 8. St. Mark chapter 8, verses 34 to 37.
The book of St. Mark chapter 8, verse 34. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
Now see that? That's key right there. Whosoever will come after me, this is what Yahweh Shah saying. Let him deny himself. See, that's the opposite of what this world teach. YOLO, best life now.
Yeah.
Get rich or die trying. Okay, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So on and so forth. Okay, the standard of the God of this world is money and material. Okay, so the Lord said, whoever will come after me, you're going to have to reject all that. Reject all that, deny yourself, and come after me. Read.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my name's sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it.
See that? You got to be willing to forfeit your temporary life here on this earth, your lifestyle, your fleshly desires, the things that your will and the world say you're supposed to have. You have to be willing to sacrifice that, lose that life so you could gain your eternal life spiritually. Come on.
For what shall it profit the man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
See that? What does it matter? You gain the whole world, just like in Hollywood, my first example. You could think of, okay, a lot of people say Illuminati or secret societies. Yeah, it's true. They do certain rituals and things, sacrifices, whether it's blood sacrifices, homosexual acts. They do a lot of wicked, satanic rituals and sacrifices in exchange for the wealth and fame. That's the way it operates. Not even in Hollywood. You go to a lot of people 9-to-5 careers. Okay, a lot of people do things and compromise behind closed doors just to get what they want, to get where they're trying to go. That's just what it's saying, or what it means when it say, what does it matter, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and in turn lose his soul? Because you sold to the flesh your whole life, okay? You was willing to sell your own soul, but yet not realizing at the end of that, what are you going to give in exchange for your soul? Meaning what? That sin, that pleasure was only for a season. It didn't last, because at the end of your life, what? You have to answer to the Lord. Okay, that's the message for all of us. All right? Go ahead.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
Okay. What if it profit a man if he gain the whole world and loses his soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Showing you sin and pleasure is temporal. It's only for a season. All right? Let's get Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death.
You see that? Riches don't profit you in the day of death, meaning judgment. Only your righteousness. Only righteousness. Your money, riches, the things you acquired on this side is not going to profit you when you stand before the Lord. So if we fully understood that, we wouldn't be putting so much energy into the pleasures of this side, of this life. We would fully be focused on sowing to a spirit so we could reap the eternal benefit of eternal life. All right? Let's look at that matter of fact. Precept St. Luke chapter 12 and pick it up in verse 15.
The book of St. Luke chapter 12, verse 15. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of things which he possessed. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. Verse 18. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods.
Now you see that? This is a parable of a man who sold to his flesh. See that? It say his fruit or his ground, it brought forth plenty. Meaning he had more than enough. Money, his materials, his cattle, his crops, he had more than enough. So much, he said, I'm going to stock all this up in my barn and I'm going to just sit back. I didn't approach, people today would say the American dream. I didn't obtain the American dream. This is life. I didn't done it all. This is a man, he spent his whole life sowing and chasing off of the things of the flesh rather than the spirit. Read.
And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry.
You see that? Soul, I did good. I didn't obtain all the things of this life, all the things of this world. Ooh. I didn't made it. I got the bag. American dream. 2-story house, 3 golden rods, white picket fence with the little dog in the back. I did that. This is his attitude. This is his mentality. He lived his whole life chasing the things of this world. Read.
But Yahweh said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee.
Meaning I'm going to kill you. Your life going to be required of you this very night. Come on.
Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward Yahweh.
You see that? This is the person who live their whole life. They reject the word of the Lord. They don't care about sowing to the spirit. They're in a low-level vibrational carnal state, carnal-minded, meaning they only care and chase the things of this life. Okay, that's the message for us today. All right, let's get St. Luke 16 now. St. Luke chapter 16 and 19 through 25.
The book of St. Luke chapter 16 verse 19. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores.
Okay, so we read a parable. This is a parable. So just in a nutshell, to sum it all up, Lazarus represents the poor righteous man. He sold to the spirit, the things of the spirit. He cared about the things of the Lord. Okay, the rich man represents the man of the world, a carnal-minded man. He sold to his flesh. He didn't care about the things of the Lord. Okay, another, a higher level, same with a parable, Jacob and Esau. Okay, Esau's rulership now in this world, he has the fatness of the earth, which is his blessing. The kingdom to come is Jacob's. Okay, but we're going to take it for this value. Let's just say it represents Lazarus, the poor righteous man who sold to the spirit, the rich man, okay, the unrighteous man, the worldly man who was carnal. He chased the things of this world. Come on.
And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth that Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed.
You can start right there. But that's the whole point, is showing you. See that? The Lord saying, son, remember, in that time, talk about the rich man, you had your pleasure.
Yeah.
You had all the things of this world. But yet you didn't seek the Lord. You sold to your flesh. You didn't realize that sin and the pleasures of this life is temporary. See, it came with an expiration date. The second he died, what? Say he lift up his eyes now, he's in hell, he's in torment. See that? And on the vice versa, the flip side, you have the poor man, Lazarus, right? He was the man of the spirit. He lived this life, he was poor, he didn't have much, but yet that just shows you he didn't chase the things of this world. Mm-hmm. He sold to the spirit. Mm-hmm. Now the things then flip. Mm-hmm. Now he's at peace, he's at rest. Mm-hmm. He have everything now that the rich man had on this side. So it's showing you the pleasures of sin is only for a season. Mm-hmm. See, the rich man had his season. Yep. His season was up. He lifted up his eyes that quick. Guess what? It's over. Now you don't have nothing else to show for it. Just like the parable of the man that stored up in the barn. Same concept. He didn't realize that sin and pleasure, all of that material, all of that he spent his time chasing and sowing to the flesh, all of that came with an expiration date. When that season was up, meaning his life, boom. Now he got to pay the piper. All right? Let's get 1 Timothy chapter 5. 1 Timothy chapter 5, we're going to read verses 5 and 6.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 5. Now,
start at verse 4.
Verse 4. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show pity at home, and to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable, therefore, before God. Now she that is widow indeed, and desolate, trusteth in God, and continueth in supplications and prayers night and day.
Meaning she sold to her spirit. This is the example to the women. Mm-hmm. Whether it's widows or just women in general. Okay, she, through prayer and supplication day and night. This is showing a righteous woman who took the time in this life, she sold to the things of the spirit. The next verse is going to show the opposite. Read.
But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
See that? But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. Meaning this season in her life, right? She's sowing to the flesh. The things of this world, just like the world promotes today. That's everything with these women, from feminism, okay, sexual liberation. You could be out of order. Okay, you got to listen to your head. No man, this and that. All the things of this world, what they tempt women to do today. All the things that violate or go against the Lord. Okay, it's saying, yeah, for this season, she liveth in pleasure, but she's dead. Talking about spiritual. Mm-hmm. She's already dead even while she living. Showing you as soon as her season is up, she's going to have to pay. She's got to pay the consequences or pay the piper. All right? Luke chapter 6. St. Luke chapter 6, verses 24-25.
The book of St. Luke chapter 6, verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation.
See that? Woe unto you who are rich on this season, this side. You've received your consolation. Meaning your reward, basically. Okay, you've gotten the things that this is what you sold for, this is what you chased, spent your whole life desiring. Okay, you've gotten your consolation on this side. Read.
Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
See, just like Lazarus and the rich man. Woe to ye, O fool, now, for you shall be hungry. The rich man was full in this lifetime, but on the next time, okay, when he opened up his eyes, he was in torments. Okay, woe to you who laugh now, for you shall weep. Mm-hmm. See, in his lifetime, he was laughing. He was living in mirth. He had all the things that it, kind of the attitudes you see of the world today. Even on our people, every TikTok you go in, social media, people bragging, taking pictures, bank rolls up to their ear like a phone, showing their money and material, what they got. See that? That's talking about sowing to your flesh in this season. But you got to understand, like the title of the lesson, pleasure of sin only for a season. At the end of that season, if you ain't investing your spirit, took the time to seek the Lord, you got to pay. All right? 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 9 and 10.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahushua, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad.
You see that? Go back up to the first verse you read.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent.
That's the key. Wherefore we labor. Showing you our labor should be to the things of the Spirit.
Yeah.
See? Continue.
Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Yahushua, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad.
You see that? That's when the season is up. Okay? Everybody got to stand before Yahushua and give account of receive a reward for everything that we done in this season, whether good or whether bad. So all those bad things or whatever, you're going to have to give an account for. The things you might have did to chase the things of this world nobody know about, you got to answer for. As well as the things we did that was good and righteous, that's going to come with a reward. All right? Let's close out. Let's get Revelation chapter 22. And we'll pick it up in verse 11.
Book of Revelation chapter 22 verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Okay, so for the wicked, the one who don't want to seek the Lord, who don't want to seek truth, who don't want to serve or sow to the Spirit, okay, continue doing what you're doing. Hopefully you repent, but this is what the Lord's saying. If you don't, keep that same energy, okay, I'll get it later. I ain't no worried about that. Keep that same energy. Continue.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
And vice versa, just like the rich man and Lazarus. Okay, that's why the Bible says, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways. The one that's righteous, the one that's doing the work of the Lord, the one that's continuing to sow to the Spirit, continue to do that. Don't stop seeking the Lord. Don't stop serving the Lord. Don't fall into the traps of this world. Don't get distracted. How Satan did Eve in the garden. Don't get distracted for the things of this world. Keep doing righteousness. Read.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be.
See that? Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be. Showing you at the end of this season, okay, seeing it's pleasurable for a season, but at the end of it, you're going to have to answer. There's a price to pay. As a tab, like it's going out, say you go out to a bar or whatever, order drink off the drink, food off the food. So much so, the tab gets so for long, you lose count. And at the end of it, you get ready to get up and go, they slap the bill on your tab. Okay, this is kind of what the Lord is showing us. Okay, we want to sow to the things of the Spirit and avoid sowing to the flesh. Why? Because at the end of that pleasurable season, we have to give an account. Okay, so once again, that's been pleasure of seeing for a season. I pray you got some understanding. Until next time, shalom.